Okay, today we are going to have a meaningful conversation about self care and building healthy habits. Self care is not only about relaxation, it is about taking care of our physical health, mental well being, time, relationship, and daily routines. Let's explore how small habits can create a healthier and more balanced life. So, my first
Ooh,
question
it's a
is
great way to set the stage.
what does what does self care really mean, and why is it important in our daily lives?
I think people get this wrong a lot. They treat it like a luxury, like a bubble bath or a spa. But really, self care is more like the maintenance you do in a car so it doesn't break down on the highway. It's the boring stuff, getting enough sleep, setting boundaries, and knowing they know. It's important because if you're running on empty, you've got nothing left to give to anyone else. You can't pour from an empty cup. You know what I'm saying?
Why do people often ignore self care when they become busy with work, family, or other responsibilities?
Because we've been conditioned to believe that burnout is a badge of honor. People feel like if they aren't stressed or exhausted, they aren't working hard enough. It becomes this weird kind of who's the most overwhelmed. Plus, when you're in the thick of it, self care feels like just another chore on the to do list. So it's the first thing to get cut. It's easier self than it is to ignore a boss or a kid, right?
What is the connection between self care and our physical health?
That's a straight line, honestly. Your mind and body aren't separate things, they're totally wired together. When you ignore self care, that stress doesn't just vanish, it manifests. You start getting those tension headaches, your sleep goes to trash, and your immune system basically takes a vacation. It's like run a high end app on a phone with a dying battery and a cracked screen. Eventually, the whole thing just glitches out.
How can simple habits such as getting enough sleep, drinking water, and eating healthy food improve our overall well being?
It's the foundation, really. We tend to overcomplicate things, but those basics are like the operating system for your life. When you're hydrated and slept out, your brain actually functions. Reactive, you can focus, and you don't hit that 3 p.m. wall where everything feels impossible. It's not about being perfect, but just giving your body the raw materials it needs to not fight against you all day. It makes the hard stuff feel a lot more manageable. You know what I'm saying?
Why is regular physical activity important even for people who have very busy schedules?
Because it's actually the best way to buy back your time. I know it sounds backwards, like I'm too busy to spend an hour at the gym, but movement is basically a reset button for your brain. When you get your heart rate up, you clear out the mental fog and the stress. You end up getting more done in 4 hours of focused work than you would sluggish, stressed out grinding. It's less about the gym and more about just not letting your body turn into a statue while you're staring at a
How does mental and emotional self care affect our ability to handle stress and challenges?
It's like building a when you're ignoring your mental state, every little problem feels like a catastrophe. But when you're actually checking in with yourself, you've got this layer of armor on. You don't just react to everything that happens. You have the space to actually choose how to handle it. The difference between being a leaf in a storm and actually being the tree without snapping.
What are some simple self care activities that people can practice without spending a lot of money?
The best part is that the real stuff is usually free. Like taking a walk without your phone, letting your brain wander, or reading a book that has nothing to do with work. Even just 5 minutes of sitting in silence can be a massive reset. It's more about the intention than the price tag. Just carving out a space where you aren't on for anyone else.
How can we build healthy habits when we find it difficult to stay consistent?
The biggest mistake people make is trying to change everything at once. They try to go from zero to and they burn out by Wednesday. The trick is to make the habit so small it's almost embarrassing. Instead of saying, I'm going to work out for an hour every day, putting on your gym shoes. That's it. Once the shoes are on, the hardest part is over. It's about winning the start, not obsessing over the finish line. the barrier to entry until it's impossible to fail.
Why are small daily changes often more effective than trying to completely change our lifestyle overnight?
Because your brain basically hates surprises. When you try to flip your whole life upside down in one day, your brain treats it like a threat and tries to pull you back to what's familiar, which is why most New Year's resolutions die by February. But small changes, those fly under the radar. You're just tweaking the edges, so there's no alarm going off. It's like sneaking a new piece of furniture into a room 1 inch at a time. Eventually, you've got a whole new setup, and you didn't for
How can technology and social media affects our self-care and healthy habits?
It's a double-edged sword for sure. On one hand, you've got apps that track your sleep or remind you to drink water, which is cool. But the flip side is basically a highlight reel of everyone else's perfect life. It turns self-care into a performance. Instead of actually relaxing, people are spending their me time perfect photo of their avocado toast to prove they're they're living a balanced life. It creates this constant low-level anxiety that you're not doing enough or being enough. And is always in a state of comparison, and you can't actually reset if you're constantly checking to see how you stack up against a filtered version of someone else.
What role does setting boundaries play in protecting our time, energy, and mental well-being?
Boundaries are basically the walls of your sanctuary. Without them, you're just and everyone's walking all over your peace. People think boundaries are about being mean or shutting people out, but it's actually the opposite. It's about defining where you end and someone else so you don't get swallowed whole by other people's needs. When you can say, I can't take that on right now without feeling like a criminal, you're essentially protecting your battery.
How
It
can
stops you from reaching that point of total resentment where you start snapping at people because you've given too much of yourself away. It's the only way to make sure you actually have some energy left for things that actually matter.
how can teachers and professionals manage self-care while dealing with demanding work responsibilities?
That's a tough one because those roles are basically designed to drain you. When your whole job is giving to other people, you end up feeling guilty for taking anything for yourself. The key is treating self care as a professional requirement, not a hobby. Teachers burned out, the students feel it. If a doctor is exhausted, the patients feel it. So you have to carve out non negotiable windows, even if it's just 10 minutes of absolute car before walking into the house. It's about creating a hard line between work mode and human mode so you don't carry the weight of everyone else's problems into your sleep.
What are some common unhealthy habits that people develop because of stress or busy lifestyle?
Oh, endless. But the big ones are usually comfort habits that actually make things worse, like revenge bedtime, procrastination up until 2 a.m. scrolling on your phone because it's the only time of day you feel in control of your time, or the emotional eating thing where you lean on sugar, bean, just to keep the engine running. Even something like constant multitasking where you're doing five things at once, but nothing is actually getting done. It's basically find a shortcut to feel okay, but those shortcuts usually lead straight to more stress.
What strategies can help us maintain healthy habits even when we lose motivation?
The thing about motivation is that it's a liar. It's this feeling that comes and goes. Wait for it to show up before you do the work. You're basically leaving your life to chance. The real secret is relying on systems, not feelings. Don't wait to feel like working out. Just make the habit an automatic part of your day, like brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every morning motivated to brush your teeth. You just do it because when you shift from like, I have to feel it to this is just my routine, the lack of motivation doesn't even matter anymore. You
If someone
just cruise on autopilot.
if someone want to
My
start
bad. I'm stopping.
if, okay, yeah, stop.
I'm locked in.
No, wait.
All good.
Last question. If someone wants to start practicing self-care today, what are the first three simple habits you would recommend?
Keep it dead simple so they actually do. First, the phone-free first hour. Don't let the rest of the world into your head the second you wake up. Second, that walk, no podcasts, no music, just you and the sidewalk. And third, a hard stop time for work every day where the laptop and stays closed. If you start there, you're already ahead of 90% of people.
Thank you, Miles, for this insightful conversation.
Anytime. Though it's Miles over here.